first two periods, so this will be a good way for you to find out what to do just by watching this video clip and working through this Nearpod. Okay, we are starting a game. It's called Road to Revolution. You are going to get the name of a character I made up. That character is going to have some characteristics about them, where they live, where they're from. Are they in an urban or rural area? They might be a loyalist, a neutralist, or a patriot, depending on their viewpoints towards starting a revolution. Loyalists, you are going to be very loyal to the King of England. You really don't want a revolution. Patriots, you're going to be fired up about the revolution, and you want to have freedom from England as soon as possible. Neutralists, or moderates as we might call them, you're kind of on the fence. You're not really sure, but you want to just keep doing your thing and maybe not get involved. Kind of like today, I might compare it to a patriot and a loyalist who are on the extreme side. You see somebody with lots of Joe Biden signs or Donald Trump signs in the yard, and they're very passionate about their candidate, and they're expressing their viewpoints with signs and flags and all the things we see. A lot of people are neutralists. They're like, well, I'm going to vote, but I'm not really sure. I kind of don't want to get involved. Kind of like the way the patriots, loyalists, and neutralists are today. And back in these times, I should say. All right, here's what you want to do. First, you want to get a copy of the score sheet and the roles to play. You can click on a link in the today's Canvas announcement to get that. You can also scan QR codes that I have hanging up in the front and the back of the room. I think I'm going to have the substitute direct you to do that before you start the Nearpod, so hopefully you've already gotten that. Here's what you're going to see on the spreadsheet when you scan it. First thing you'll see, click on here. First thing you're going to see is a score sheet, is the first page. And here's where you're going to put in your name and your character's name and what points you're starting with, some details like that. I'll explain that a little more in a second. But find your class period on the tabs on the bottom. I'm going to click on period 1. And you'll see, find your name. You can see your character's name. Here's Emma. She's Betty Churchill. She lives in rural Pennsylvania, so you want to know that. She's a loyalist. She's starting with 100 points. There's kind of a funny description if you want to take a look. So go back to your score sheet before you get started. Click back over to my score sheet. You're going to jot in, she could put her character's name. You can, or you don't have to. The amount of points she's starting with is going to go in this box. So she's starting with 100. So I'm going to put 100 in there. And the spreadsheet is nice. It's going to keep track of your score. She's a loyalist, so I'm going to type in loyalist. Watch this. It's going to change color. So if you're a different group, you change it. It'll be from blue. She's from, let's look back and see where she's from. I think she's from rural Pennsylvania. Yep. So I'm going to type in Pennsylvania. You can type in rural or Pennsylvania. Type in rural Pennsylvania. Watch this. Change color to green. Now you're going to start working through some events on the Nearpod as you start going. It's going to give you some explanation. Now you're going to gain or lose points as events happen to you. Some you can control, some you can't, depending on your character. Emma in her case is starting with 100. The first event you'll get to in the Nearpod here in a second. When you complete that event, it's going to tell you if you gained or lost depending on where you live or whether you're a patriot, loyalist, or neutralist. So what you're going to do is add in your points. So let's say Emma gained 5. Just type 5 in there. Click on it. Turns gray. And it's actually going to keep track of your points at the bottom. So she's got 105. If you happen to lose points or don't gain anything, just leave it blank. If you lose points, which you might, in the box you're going to put a minus sign. Let's say she lost 10. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Minus 10. And it keeps track on the bottom. Kind of cool. So the formula is already embedded. Write some notes down why you think you might have gained or lost. Maybe it's based on where you live. Maybe it's based on your faction, like patriot, loyalist, neutralist. And we'll give a little explanation in the video clip. So you want to make sure you have that. If you'd rather do all this on paper and just calculate it by hand, get a hand copy of the score sheet from the substitute. So get that set up, and then we're going to jump into the rest of our activity.